Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Sabi Sands. It's another beautiful day here and we've got off to an exceptionally lucky start here. This breeding herd of elephants are relaxing. They have been in the shade literally until we went live a few seconds ago, and now they've all just started coming out into the sun as if they knew that the show had begun. So there are a few youngsters in amongst them. We haven't got too close to them because they were resting in the shade very close to the road and we didn't want to distress them or bother them, so we've given them some space and we have now been rewarded because they appear to be all moving around and it really is a wonderful setting. Now when elephants relax in the shade, you know it's a hot day because their cooling system, those big ears, typically allows them to keep on the move during the hotter hours of the day. Whereas when we found them, they were all in the shade, relaxing, and I think that's what a lot of the animals will be doing now, because it has been quite a hot day. The wind is just picking up now for the first time. There was not much of a breeze earlier on today, around midday, and this breeze is just beginning to pick up. There's a few clouds in the sky, but nothing that concerns us of any rain at the moment, and to be honest, some rain would be really wonderful for this area. It's a bit dry at the moment. And as Andrew, who is on camera with me this afternoon, is showing you, there's a little baby hiding in the shadows there with its mother. And we'll just give this herd a moment or two to try and establish where they're going. They've just started moving now, and once we've established where they are moving, we can try and loop ahead of them and get some visuals of them. Brent and Brian are out on the other vehicle, and they are heading towards Djuma, a young male leopard. Now, for those of you who haven't been on the last few drives, Brent has spent the last 2 drives with a young male leopard and a bushbuck kill that he has made. So they're over there to investigate what's going on. There was about 30% of the kill remaining this morning, so they should have some luck in relocating him. And myself and Andrew were heading off to look for a young male lion and a lioness who we found this morning. They've been separated by their herd. I think I might, should I try and reposition, Andrew? Or are you okay there? So we were heading off to lion, and then bumped into these elephant, which was a very pleasant surprise. I am just going to try and relocate. She's a beautiful cow, this, with nice big tusks. Or maybe we won't have to move. Maybe they're going to move for us. Two little youngsters there playing with one another. They look of a very similar size. And look at that. Beautiful. Either way, great prospects for later on this afternoon with some great predator activity on the cards. But in the meantime, we couldn't have asked for a better start than to be with this herd of elephants. And this youngster really is showing us how well it can use its trunk. And it does take them a while to get the hang of using their trunks. And in the final control this afternoon, we've got Alex. So He spent the last 3 drives on camera and has had some great sightings, so really happy for him that when he did get out on camera the game viewing was pumping. So he's had a good change of scenery from the final control and is back in there this afternoon. So he will be the one who coordinates the questions or sends through the questions to myself and Brent. And if any of you would like to ask questions, to do so you would hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or send an email through to questions@wildearth.tv.
Should we try? Get a bit closer.
Let's do it, Andrew. Just hold on here, Andrew, because I can't see holes like that one we've just gone into. I think we're going to get much better than this, eh?
This is good.
There's a little bit of water remaining here in a place called Philemon's Dip, and these elephants are about to put on a bit of a show for us. As you can see, this big cow is already a little bit covered in mud and will continue to throw this mud all over her body, which will be a wonderful cooling sensation initially, and later on, once it dries up, it'll cake any ectoparasites on her skin, thus suffocating them and also creating a great film with which she can exfoliate off all these ectoparasites if she rubs against a tree at a later stage. So the equivalent of a health spa, I guess, out here. What we can also notice is the two on the left are drinking. So the elephants have managed to excavate a very narrow hole which is below the water table, and they are now drinking from it. So it really is phenomenal how in the drier times these animals do make plans to get to water that is not visible and inaccessible to most other animals, but with their size, strength, and this very unique modification of a nose, the trunk, it allows them to excavate holes in which they can, from which they can drink. And there's so much going on here that Andrew, I'm sure, is battling to decide where to film. Not a bad situation to be in as a cameraman. It seems that some of the herd may have moved off, or who knows, possibly it was two separate herds that converged on this water point through default more than anything else. There are not many water points remaining, whereas a few weeks ago there were a lot of pools of water lying about just from rain, but those have started to dry up, which is good for us, good for game viewing. It does mean that animals will concentrate around water sources as the weeks and months go on into the dry winter, but it does make for a tougher existence for the animals. Afternoon mobile stations. Good afternoon, Ephraim. Just to let you know, there's a breeding herd, Philemon's depth. Copy. Good afternoon, Yoss. How are you doing? Yeah, very good, thanks. I'm telling you, you've brought some serious luck with you. Oh, that's awesome news. That sounds good. Hope that works out. Yeah, for sure. Did you copy that the Sabarat and Young Lioness are here on Vuyatela? Okay, copy. Have a good afternoon. We'll see you one of these days. Sorry about that, but very important for us to maintain good relationships with the landowners and the guides who traverse these areas. Oh, that's not very kind. Maybe it's not its mother and it's telling it to wait its turn. Or maybe it is its mother and still just telling it to wait its turn. Oh, that's one unhappy teenager.
Shame.
Really, really interesting to see that. And maybe it's the heat causing the mother to not tolerate any of this youngster's nonsense. Really interesting though, because the mother does appear to be blowing out half the water that it does take into its trunk. That's one of my favorite noises to hear, that deep rumbling grumble of the elephants. Now, you may be wondering, how much water would this elephant be drinking? It's hard to tell, but I have seen an elephant drink 20 liters in the matter of about 2 seconds. So they can drink exceptionally quickly. When I say drink, that was inhaled it 20 liters into its trunk and then blow that 20 liters into its mouth, because they don't swallow through their nose. They just use their nose as a receptacle of sorts within which they will suck up the water and then blow it into their mouth. But they're a large animal and they can consume vast quantities of water, and especially at times of year like this where they know it may be a while before they come across their next water source, they could take on many, many liters of water. And this one here certainly seems to be hogging this little reservoir that they've dug out. it's interesting, and it reaffirms something I said a few drives ago. Elephants will try and access cleaner water when they can. They are fussy. There is a large pool of water to the right of these elephants, but the youngster does not want to drink from that pool. It would rather wait and drink from the small well that they've dug out, and it's possibly because it's slightly cleaner and more filtered than the water lying in this puddle. Angela in Massachusetts, good afternoon and welcome on board this Safari Live drive. Angela's asking, due to elephants' social nature, has it ever happened that herds will fight amongst one another over territories? And that's a good question, Angela. Firstly, they're not territorial animals, so it's not likely that they would ever have a dispute over a given piece of land in terms of a territory. But there may certainly be times, especially times of hardship, where elephants may compete over water. Now that would be the most common area or scenario within which you would find elephants competing with one another in areas of hardship or drought, where water is a scarce commodity. Elephants may not only chase off other elephants, but even other animals coming to the water holes trying to drink. So that is one example of an area where elephants may become less sociable, but it's a unique scenario. And I guess in the same breath, if there's a shortage of food, elephants may compete over areas of rich food, but it will be a localized event and not something that would be sustained over long periods of time. So typically they would get along well with other herds and tolerate other herds in and amongst them. Finally, the youngster gets to have a drink now. So yes, just to sum it up, they typically will always accept and tolerate other herds, as far as I'm aware and as far as I've seen in all my time in the bush. But you will get unique scenarios where they may compete with one another. Oh, finally. You can almost tell how happy it is. You haven't missed out on anything. This cow is continuing to drink with a little youngster on the other side, and we'll keep an eye on that youngster. It seems to be full of beans and quite playful. And there's actually two youngsters alongside this big cow, the smallest of which is the one you can see. There's a slightly bigger one just to the right of it, but hard to see, obscured by the body of the big cow. Diane, good afternoon and welcome on board. Diane would like to know whether this elephant could be pregnant. And looking at its stomach, it certainly could be. But it could also just be the kind of slight angle she's standing at, getting her stomach to protrude to one side. It's difficult to tell, and judging by the age of the small calves around her, it would make me almost feel that no, she isn't, but her stomach certainly does appear that she is. Typically elephants will have a 4-year cycle at minimum between giving birth and giving birth again, and that does make sense because it's a 22-month gestation period, and she would need to raise a calf for around 2 years before mating again. So it's typically a 4-year cycle, and I guess these two youngsters could be approaching around the 2-year mark, so it could be that she is pregnant. It certainly looks that way, Diane, but difficult to be certain, and I wouldn't want to say definitively whether she is or she isn't. Okay. Now, I'm wondering if these elephants haven't tapped into the water pipeline that runs up to Vuyatela Lodge, because there just seems to be a bit too much aggression for this water, for it to be regular water. I think it's crystal clear fresh water that's causing them to get very worked up and possessive over it. So they potentially have tapped into the pipeline that feeds the lodge. I guess we'll find out this evening when we get home and try and take a shower. Either way, I'm happy with them pulling out the odd pipe because it's making for great viewing for us. And there's just a stream, a non-stop stream of elephants. I said to Andrew during the break and broadcast just a few minutes ago, where on earth are all these elephants coming from? Because there just seems to be a constant stream. Some leave and are replaced by even more. So maybe the word is spread that they've tapped into some tasty clean water. This youngster obviously didn't get the full memo because it's happy drinking out of the puddle. And another calf just begin to nurse. I'm sorry, it's just so difficult to try and choose what to film. And Andrew's got his work cut out for him, but this calf looks like it's trying to nurse. Copy that, thanks Alex. So, some of you may be wondering why the young calf is nursing under the front legs of that cow, and unlike a lot of mammals, the mammary glands of an elephant are situated under the front legs, not the back legs. So That's also a useful thing to look out for when trying to tell the gender of elephants. Their mammaries are noticeable, especially when they have youngsters like this, and they are situated under the front legs, not the rear, like a cow or a buffalo, or most of the other mammals, I guess, or herbivores rather. Station, just an update on the two kahumas from this morning. They were last left on Weaver's Nest, Chelapan Junction, still on the move. They were kind of tending north and slightly east at that stage. I'll be following up there shortly just with the breeding herd at Philemon's Dip. Julia in Houston, good afternoon and welcome. Julia's asking whether there's any other animals that will also have mammary glands under their front legs, and there's primates that do, so baboons and monkeys will, but in terms of your other kind of herbivores, your regular kind of herbivores, I can't think of too many more. The hyrax, the rock hyrax, could well, because it's a very close relative of the elephant despite their massive size difference, and I know they share a lot of traits in terms of their anatomy, so there's a chance that the rock hyrax would also have mammary glands under the front legs or arms. What else out here would? Certainly not rhino, not hippo, none of your general antelope or plains game. So no, not that I can think of, Julia, but I'm sure some of the viewers out there are going to get onto that and let us know of any other interesting animals that may have mammary glands under on their chest as opposed to on their hindquarters. But I can't think of any others out here, so they are certainly unique in that regard, as far as I'm aware. Wouldn't it be nice to know how much water this cow has drunk? And I did mention it earlier with another one of the cows, and impossible to say, but I would hazard a guess at around comfortably 50 litres, and this one youngster's taken a seat here waiting in the queue. Oh, not even, it's lay down.
You don't see that very often.
No, you don't. As Andrew just mentioned, it's not something you see very commonly, elephants lying down. And when you do, it is more often than not the smaller ones like this. But occasionally, if you get very lucky, you will see an adult lying down, or you'll see a baby climbing on top of another teenager that's lying down, or two babies climbing on top. Isn't this wonderful? Look at this. I'll have to get my camera out quickly. Quick. Oh. Oh. Wow. A real spectacle they're putting on for us here. Baby elephant wrestling. And how funny, how tolerant the one is of the other one that's climbing on top of it, but I think it might roll over head first if it continues the way it's going. Watch this space. We could have a tumbling baby elephant. Oh. Oh. No. It managed to pull off that stunt. Without any injury or embarrassment. But wasn't that funny to see? It literally climbed right over the other elephant's head. And when you watch animals like this, you can't help but wonder how they get slaughtered for their ivory, so that people can have jewelry and ornaments around their house or on their body. And such wonderful animals are getting slain for materialistic objects. It really is sickening. And if only some of the people that buy these products could see these animals in their natural environment like this, I'm sure it would certainly change their outlook on buying the products, be it from elephants or rhino, to iconic animals of Africa that are under threat from poaching. It really is so sad. And to make matters worse, it's not only the adults that will get killed, even the youngsters. A whole herd will be wiped out. But for now, in this area, these elephants have got absolutely nothing to worry about, and that's the good news. And that's why they're so tolerant of us and so accepting of our presence with them here, that they continue with their business as if we're not even here. And look at that youngster sticking its trunk into another one's mouth. Not sure what it's trying to steal or achieve, but it certainly is interesting. And would you believe it, there's yet another elephant approaching. So the queue, the never-ending queue of elephants, continues to entertain us. And I fear we may not be able to leave this sighting. If it continues like this, we're going to have to postpone the lion hunt until tomorrow. This is a young bull that's approaching. And you can tell that because he's got a very rounded head. The foreheads of the bulls are less right-angled than that of the cows. and not very easy to tell, but something to look out for. This one's also got some decorations on the top of his head. Not sure what the occasion is. It's only a Wednesday, so it shouldn't really be doing anything outrageous on a midweek. Valerie on email, good afternoon and welcome on board. Valerie is asking, now that the elephants know that this is potentially, well, if it is a water source for the lodge, and now that they know of where it exists, will they continue to come back and tap into it? And yes, they certainly will. Lodges throughout Africa will try and have tried to create elephant-proof water piping, but there's no ways to stop elephants getting to it, so you've just got to be prepared to be willing to fix it on a continual basis. And I love that noise. So yes, Valerie, there is a strong chance that they certainly will, once they know of a weakness or a weak point or something that benefits them or something that they like, they will come back and take advantage of it. They've got great memories, and it's just one of those things out here in Africa that you've got to factor into the equation. You almost need an extra staff member in some camps to permanently be on water checking the water pipelines. And a friend of mine in Kenya, their lodge, they do have somebody employed specifically for walking the water pipeline every single day to fix breakages from the elephants. So that's just one of those things that you have to deal with out here, and it's a price worth paying. And at the end of the day, you don't really have too much say in the matter. But good question, and it does highlight some of the hardships that the lodges do face out here. Well, thankfully, if you do have no water in your camp and you tell the guests, well, elephants broke the piping, most guests would be fairly understanding of the scenario and actually enjoy taking that tale back home and sharing to their friends that they couldn't have a shower in one evening because the elephant stole all the water. And there's nothing wrong with a tale or two like that to take back from safari. As you can see, the one youngster's found a toy. And just like humans and most other animals, youngsters are playful, and it's clearly evident here. Not a care in the world. Just to keep you updated on Brent, he is in the area of Djuma and has relocated on him, but at the moment the visual isn't great. They can barely see him, just a few spots. He's lying in the grass, but he is going to stand by there for the time being and see if things don't liven up. And once these ellies or if at some stage these elephants stop entertaining us, we'll go across and get a quick update, and you can see exactly what it is that Brent is seeing. certainly good prospects for later on this evening. There were some hyena in the area this morning, and that certainly spices up the scenario. So look forward to some great viewing with Djuma the leopard, the hyena, and Brent and Brian a little bit later. But for now, there's not too much happening there, so that's why we haven't head across to them yet to say hello, but it won't be much longer till we do. And the plan for myself and Andrew, for those of you who have just joined, is to search for a young male lion and a young lioness around 2 years of age that we did follow this morning. They've been split up from the rest of their pride, and the rest of their pride are far, far away now, probably 4 or 5 miles away as the crow flies. And we can look forward to some action from them. They are hungry and also looking for the pride, so good prospects for having lions on the move a little bit later. Well, Andrew, would you believe it? We've been here just about an hour now.
Ew.
There's nothing better than heading out. We head out about 15 to 20 minutes before we go live, usually, sometimes a little bit earlier than that. But nothing better than coming around a corner and finding a great sighting that you know you're going to be able to open up on. And that happened this afternoon with us. We were not even 5 minutes from camp and we bumped into these ellies. Certainly didn't expect to spend an hour with them. So this is a real bonus. Now, I've heard one rule of thumb that you can use to age elephants is that if a baby can pass underneath its mother's stomach, it's under a year of age. Now, please take that with a pinch of salt, because obviously there's so many variables. The mother size and the calf size can obviously vary greatly depending on the individual, but it is a rough gauge that one can use if you would like to try and age young elephants. And this youngster that we can see here doesn't appear to be able to pass underneath its mother's stomach, so possibly over a year in age. And its mother does look pregnant, as Diane, I think it was, asked earlier. Very noticeable protrusion in her stomach. I keep looking up thinking the lion are going to just be walking down this road towards us. We didn't leave them far from here, probably a quarter of a mile. This morning they were still on the move. The one lioness, well, the only lioness, the lioness, tried to catch an impala. She did very well. She got quite close, but sadly her brother or cousin, I'm not sure if they are brothers or cousins, but they look to be around the same age. The brother didn't aid much in the hunt. But we did leave them shortly after that, and they were still milling about, so not sure how far they ended up from where we left them. Andrew's just spotted a woodlands kingfisher that popped into the pond for a swim. Sadly it flew off out of view. It was glistening beautifully in the sunlight for a split second. And as so often does happen out here, as soon as we try and pan across to something, the animals flutter away. Go ahead, Brent. Negative. They're going to drive down. Wonderful. Who's there? Okay, good. Good. What are you thinking? What do you want to do? I'm still on Philemon's dip with this breeding herd, but I think it might be worth heading over to Treehouse. Copy, yeah, good prospects all round, so we can just feel it out as we go. Deborah in Tennessee, good afternoon and welcome on board. Deborah's asking whether other animals will take advantage of this water source now that the elephants have exposed it or opened it up. And yes, to a degree, animals that can fit their heads or into that hole will certainly try. So a lot of the smaller animals would, leopard would. And as you can see, all these youngsters who've been waiting their turn are certainly making the most of it. But yes, certainly animals will make the most of it, other than elephants. So they are helping the community out here, not just themselves. But as you can see, it's quite a narrow hole that their trunk needs to go not too deep down into, but about, call it 12 inches. It's quite a deep, narrow hole, so a buffalo, for example, is probably going to have trouble getting its head in there. Good question, though, and wouldn't it be nice for us to put up a camera trap? It's one toy that I need to buy myself, is a camera trap, because it would be wonderful to put one up here and see what other animals come to drink from this hole. Well, Andrew's just spotted a little interesting bird here. And it's a kingfisher. But it's not a kingfisher we see very often. It's a slightly different one. So I'm going to leave this one up to you to identify, and you can get your answers through to Alex in the final control and he'll relay them to me. But the only clue I'm giving you is that it is not a woodlands kingfisher. So you've got, I'm just going to count quickly, in the Kruger National Park you've got another 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 9 kingfishers you get in the Kruger National Park and surroundings where we are. It's not one of them, so it's one of another 8 types of kingfisher that you get here.
Is it fully grown?
It is fully grown, it's an adult. Good question, Andrew. Ephraim. Confirm you controlling the sighting at Treehouse Dam. sorry. Copy, thanks very much, Roy. I'll be joining you shortly. Okay, well, it would be nice to leave this one elephant, but we are in a rush to go somewhere very interesting. So Roy, another one of the guides, has found an animal, and it's an animal that I'm sure all of us are going to enjoy viewing. So let's rush on over there. Whatever it is, it's moving, which means we need to get there to make sure it doesn't get lost. And which is the quickest way to get there? This is probably the best way. Brent, you can power up now if you haven't. Copy, perfect. I've left the breeding herd and heading towards treehouse. Chellapan Road, just north of that. And we'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Welcome everyone, Brent here. We've got Brian on camera with me today, and as I'm sure Scott said, Alex in FC and Scott and Andrew under the vehicle. So we came back to check Kunyama, and he's still very close to where he had that bushbuck up the tree for the last two drives. And there's still a hyena lying up just off to the right, and he's moved down into the nice cool riverbed. And just relaxing here. He's got a big full belly. Oh, big yawn. So he's not very active at the moment. So we thought we'd still come check on him. Give me the second part of the bird and I'll tell you which one. Hooded. Go ahead. Elaine. Pat. Jessica. Heather. RC. Kathleen, Robin, all got it right. It was the Q&A from Scott. It was a brown hooded kingfisher. Oh, nice smell of stomach contents wafting down towards us there. So guys, as I said, not much is going to happen here. What we're going to do is we're going to move out of here, and we're going to go try follow up on those lions that Scott had this morning. Oh, big yawn. Oh, maybe. And we will definitely come back here when it gets a bit cooler, and he might head back towards the tree to feed again, or might head off to the pan for a drink. So we will come back and double check that there isn't something more interesting, but we're going to go try have a look for those two Nkahuma Pride members. Oh, boom, there we go. Flat cat.
You know?
Coming from further east of where you would have gone off because it's a bit more open this side.
Yeah, you get
We good there? Just watch the antenna.
Sorry, go again.
This is going to be fun. It's that thorn bush that attacked me last night.
Okay, copy. Thank you.
Copy, I've got those little Impala here. Thank you very much, yours.
Oh, yeah, give me back my earpiece. Watch again there. Oh yeah, we should be clear now.
Go, go. Okay, copy. Thank you.
Where's that big stump still there? One of the nice things about having these short wheel-based vehicles is that we are very maneuverable in tight spots. Oopsie. And this is a particularly tight spot, this drainage line. Good? Good. Watch this branch as we come through. Yeah, that one is a bit of a bad one when we go out the side. So the vehicle slips down towards it. So I'm glad to hear that Scott's been testing you guys, keeping you on your toes. Oh, there we go. This is the fun part. Leaving Djuma lying up in the drainage line, open lock.
That's good. From there.
Okay, I'm in no rush, so just keep cool. I'll get there.
Okay, out of the drainage line. And we're gonna go follow up now to where the last position those lines were seen. Which was at the junction of Weaver's Nest. I get these. Just double checking what's the best route from here. So it actually, where Scott left them this morning wasn't very far from where we were sitting with Djuma.
from Chilapar Junction, go just a little bit further north, like probably 30 meters north of Chilapar Junction, heading kind of north and east, but they're still on the move. I think they could potentially be north of Chilapar and east of Wheelers.
I'm going to double check this quickly. Oh, we got some pigs. Hello, warthogs. Oh, disappearing warthogs. Hey guys, while we continue to check for these lion tracks, I think Scott's got a little surprise for you. So we're going to cross back to Scott quickly, and we'll keep on the tracks.
Welcome back, and from one sleeping leopard to one leopard who's highly mobile, and the mother of the sleeping leopard that you've just seen. What a luck. And Roy, who's just in front of us, thanks Roy, found this leopard. So a big thank you to Roy, one of the other game viewers, who called us in and let us know about this. And what a luck. Going to try and loop ahead of her again. She's about to come out onto a road, and I think that she could well walk down the road towards us, so once she does get onto it. So I'm just going to try and get ahead of her here, and that way we'll be able to get some great visuals of her as she comes onto the road and hopefully walks down the road towards us. Watch out here on the left. Now, we can't see her at this stage, but it is worth us just waiting for a moment or two for her to pop out. Here she comes. You got her there? Beautiful. Andrew's all over it, as you can see. And we may not be waiting in the best spot, but time will tell shortly whether she does get onto this road and continue towards us. But for now, we've got lucky. Hey Roy, well done, thank you very much.
On this block.
Just north. So they were lansering some Marlow just north of this junction here.
Yes.
And then I think they crossed over. So north of Chelapan and then east of this Weaver's Nest.
Okay, we need to start from now on.
Just watch out, there's one Ningin Lovu here from Philemon's Dip. They were drinking there. So, but yeah, you can have a look around, and it was just that one Mafazi and one young Madorda from Kuhuma, so they were vocalizing, so that might mean it will be easier to, maybe we can hear them calling a little bit. Cool.
Thanks. Everyone happy?
Oh yeah.
Afternoon everyone, good luck on the lion hunt. Okay, well, would you believe it, we are now left alone with this beautiful leopardess, And as I did mention ever so briefly, this is the mother of the leopard that Brent's with now. And how incredible that it is that we just simply know these facts. And that you can actually see a mother and a son on the same day, live from all over the world. Quite incredible. Now, the beauty of the way this afternoon is panning out is that now we've got a leopard on the move, which is great, and great prospects. Anything could happen. She could try and catch something, or we just simply get to enjoy her beauty as she patrols her territory. But secondly, Brent does have great prospects for later on with that leopard. Go ahead, Brent. Yeah, go ahead, Brent. Actually, just give me a moment or two. I'll get a hold of you shortly. And the wind just made her a little bit nervous there. And look at the shot we're about to get of her walking past us. This is going to be magical. And I love it when she lifts up her tail like that. What a beautiful lady she is, and right past the vehicle. So our plan did work out in the end, and that was a luck, because it's not always that it does. And she's just continued down the road. Yeah, a lot smaller than her son, as Andrew just mentioned. And what we might be able to do is link ahead of her again. Hold on, Andrew, sorry.
No problem.
Because she's taken Chelapan Road, a road that runs perpendicular to the road she just walked down. And we may be able to link ahead of her and then be able to reverse down the road as she paces towards us, which would be first prize. But it does mean we need to get into the right spot in order to do that. But she may veer off. No, she's just veered off to do a quick scent mark. And now she continues towards us. This is beautiful. Whew. This is what it's all about. Oh, I've just got to get into my reversing mode here. We don't have any review mirrors on the car, so it requires me looking backwards to reverse and forwards to keep an eye on the animal.
Better you than me, buddy.
Well, better you on the camera than me on the camera, that's for sure. So at least we've got our roles worked out here. And again, she'll scent mark. I think she's going to take a little shortcut here, because the road does do a funny little S-bend, and it's not uncommon for the predators to use the roads where it suits them, but obviously a little S-bend like that would not make any sense for it to stay along. Just going to try and get a little bit of distance, and that way when she does pop out we'll be able to have allow Andrew to have a longer, more steady session to film her on, rather than being constantly on the move. Kim, good afternoon and welcome along. Kim is asking that, or pointing out that Karula will share her kills with her boys, Kunyuma and Quarantine, but will they share with her? Now, it's got to a point now where she's not actually sharing her kills with them. they are simply taking her kills from her and overpowering her against her will. She would prefer them not to, and it's not that she's actually sharing her kills with them. It's simply that they're bigger than her, and as you would have remembered, Andrew just said she's so small, and that's comparative to the males that we've been seeing, of which one was one of her boyfriends, Mvula, and the others are her sons, Kunyuma and Quarantine. Now, we did chat about this morning, actually, Brent, myself, and the cameraman, and wondered what would happen if she did come across Kunyuma and his kill. And I don't think he would necessarily happily share it, because it's his hard-earned kill. But because he'll get full and tired and lie up on the ground, as he was doing when you cut across to Brent a bit earlier, and at that moment she would then, even though she's smaller than him, be able to go up the kill and feed. So he can only feed on so much, and therefore would tolerate her eating some of his kill. Sorry. He's about to pop back out onto the road. This is one of the windiest roads we have on the property, so makes things a little bit tricky for us, but I'm happy to do anything in order to get to view an animal this pretty. Oh, let me go back a bit more. She's just sharpening her claws there. And Andrew's doing a great job on camera, because it's very difficult when the vehicle's moving. So bear that in mind. Now, will she stay on the road, or will she keep crisscrossing? I love these shots when the animals are obscured by a bit of grass. It really does do it for me. And also does it for me when they to do what she needs to do without feeling she needs to get off the road. And now thankfully the road is straightening out somewhat, so we'll be able to loop ahead a decent distance and then use the zoom of the camera as she walks towards us. She's about to pop out onto the road there. And yeah, there you are, spot on, Andrew. Incredibly well camouflaged in that grass. So she's just in the clump of yellowish, more yellower grass on the left of the screen. She's right in there. Now, if any of you have only started watching Safari Live a week ago, this last week has been phenomenal in terms of game viewing. So it's something worth noting, because we've had an exceptional run of good luck with great game viewing, and we're loving every second of it, but wonder how much longer it will continue for. There she's poked her head up. She's just grooming herself a little bit, and I wonder whether... Look at that camouflage. I mean, if we just popped into this scenario now and asked you to spot a leopard, it would be a difficult task to do so. And I'm sure it'll just be a few seconds before she gets on the move again. It's typical for them to move, have a small breather, and then carry on moving, and here she comes. Brent for Scott. That's affirmative, and she is mobile towards Twin Dams along that road now. It's up to you. There's a chance that that could happen, certainly. I'll keep you updated when she gets to Twin Dams Junction, what her movements are. Copy, or you could ask, do you know that Ingwe Alley that I've showed you about that runs from Twin Dams to Philemon's Dip? That might also be useful though, heading kind of towards there. No, they were, yeah, but from Weaver's Nest, Chelapan Road, from the Weaver's Nest, Chelapan Road Junction. Well, scenes like this are what we spend hours and hours out here hoping for. Well, she is slinking around in the area very close to where those two lions were this morning, which is a concern. Not a major concern. She's a big girl and she's been around for a long time dodging lions. So, but it is something just to factor into the equation that you could bump into. Whew. It is thick here, so I'm not sure what we're going to do. But let's see if we can squeeze our way through here. All good? All good. There's a beautiful big open clearing here that she could pop into, so good short-term prospects. But I'm not sure how long this is going to last for because it is getting progressively thicker. There she is there. Got it. Now the nice thing about where we are now is that we may have a shot where we get to see her with the sunlight in our favor. Up until now we've been kind of looking in towards the sunlight. She's just on the other side of this fallen down tree that you can see to our right. There she is. You can see a few spots in there. She is moving towards us. She's currently in the block midway between Weaver's Nest and Twin Dams, north of Chelapan Road. Still mobile north. It's getting quite thick, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to stay with her. Sorry, go again, Ephraim. No, copying you 0 out of 5. Sorry, buddy. She's veered off path and is now not heading to where I thought she was. But that could change. And we'll just be patient rather than crashing around too much. Very important for them to stop and assess situations, as you've seen her doing since we've been following her. Taking out some time to do some grooming. And also just so important to stop and listen. As I mentioned, there are other potential threats to even leopard out here, and that comes in the form of other leopard, lion, wild dogs, hyena. So simply from a safety perspective, it's important for them to stop and assess, listen, smell. But also from a hunting perspective, if she was charging around from A to B, she could flush away a lot of potential prey. But by stopping like this, blessings, blessings, Andrew. By stopping like this, it increases the likelihood of not blundering any good hunting opportunities.
Black cat.
Has she popped down? Okay. Well, let's get a little bit closer then, seeing as though she appears to have got comfortable there. Well, what an afternoon it's been so far. You really couldn't hope for anything better than this. So I hope you're all enjoying it. She's heard something, or did hear something. You could certainly tell by her body language. It could simply be because it is a bit windy, and in windy conditions even predators will be alert. But it could simply be leaves rustling in the wind and nothing necessarily approaching. But a very difficult noise to distinguish between, I guess. A rustle caused by the wind as opposed to one caused by an animal approaching or an animal on the move. And just to keep you updated on Brent's movements, he's temporarily left Djuma because there's not too much action going on there, and it can be boring sitting in one place for 3 hours waiting for an animal to do something. Especially also when he knows that there's other potential great sightings out here. So he's fishing around for the 2 lion that we saw this morning, and it's a great way to invest his time. He knows Djuma will in all likelihood only get active when it gets a bit cooler, and he plans to head back there then. Therefore, in the meantime, he can search for other interesting animals. Karula, you're the only animal that I've actually seen catch something here at Djuma. And I don't mind if we keep it that way. You're more than welcome to show us your hunting skills this afternoon. So whenever you're ready, after you've done your cleaning, we will hang around and follow you doing your thing. There are so many little burrs and seeds that have got some kind of a sticky nature that will stick onto fur or even our legs as we walk through the bush. So the short time that she has actually spent moving through the bush this afternoon, she would have picked up a lot of burrs and seeds on her coat, as well as small thorns on the pads of her feet, as well as ticks and other ectoparasites. So understandably, she does need to spend a lot of time grooming herself in order to look so pretty and keep in good condition. And it's time to do the other side, one would think. Brent, come in. What's your position? Okay, Cobby, what's your plans? She's lying up now basically midway between Twin Dams and Weaver's Nest, 50 meters north of Chilapan Road. Basically, if you pop out onto Twin Dams and start heading north, it'll be your first road to the west. Yellow. Yeah, I would do that. I would do Twin Dams onto Ingwe Alley, back down onto Weaver's Nest, and then back on Chilapan Road. And that way you've done the block and possibly can go back to Djuma if that's what you want to do. I've been really surprised at how quickly Brent has learnt the roads in this area. He's certainly got a knack for it. We'll keep an eye on what she may be hearing over there, because she certainly does seem to be listening quite intently on that side, and I don't think it's the leaves rustling in the wind. Anyway, as I was saying regarding Brent, he has learnt the road network incredibly quickly, which he should be commended for. But in the same breath, there's a lot of roads where the definitive junctions or beginnings of the name of a road are a little bit blurry, and he still has a little bit of a way to go. And I even find myself learning little bits and pieces about the road networks still after being here for over 3 months now, whereas he's only been here a week and has done exceptionally well in that short period of time.
I'm trying to make her look like a sphinx, but it's not working out.
we're not perpendicular enough to her, but she has assumed sphinx pose. But sadly there's a tree in the way to get the perfect perpendicular shot. But I like where your head's at, Andrew. I've just heard a bit more noise coming in the direction she's looking in, and I think it could be the elephants approaching. The same elephant we potentially saw earlier. I heard a relatively loud crashing noise, sounding similar to that of an elephant working its way through some thicker vegetation. So who knows, maybe we'll have some leopards joining us shortly. Did I say leopards or elephants? I think I may have said leopards. Some elephants. The good thing about us being positioned here silently is that the two young lion that have been separated from their pride are in this area, and they were letting off a few soft contact calls this morning, hoping that their pride would hear them. And by us being stationary now and listening, we could potentially hear those contact calls. She would certainly hear them before us and alert us to the direction any strange noise is coming from, which was useful. When I say she, I mean Karula, the leopard, because that would be a frequency she would be tuned into for obvious reasons. She looks fairly full-bellied, so I've been surprised that she's been on the move, but leopards are animals that always surprise us, and it's not uncommon for them to move in the heat of the day, even in the height of summer. But the good news for her is that her belly seems fairly full, and I wonder what she's been snacking on for the last few days. When was the last time we saw her? The last time we saw her was, I think, when she was walking off with a steenbok skull in her mouth, finishing off a steenbok kill, which was probably Friday or Saturday last week. So that was the last time we saw her. She either has made a big kill that she's been feeding on for a few days since then, or she's been sustaining herself with smaller kills. They're highly opportunistic and will feed on anything from a tiny baby bird up to an animal of larger size than themselves, like a big male impala. For her would be an example of an animal bigger than herself that she could take down. I can hear a few more bushes crunching nearby, not in the direction she's facing, kind of behind her. I think there's a few more elephants around, possibly buffalo, scratching their heads and adorning their horns on bushes. Those are my two guesses as to what could be creating the noise. Well, go ahead, Brent. Copy, thanks, boss. We can hear them. Where are you now? I think there's one to the south of us and one to the north of us. Copy, thank you. So from that junction there, not far north, probably 30 meters, 40 meters north, is where we last had them this morning. And they continued kind of north and east into that block. Did you check Ingwe Alley? Okay, copy. Well, Brent just got a hold of us saying he's not far from here searching for these lion, and he said the breeding herd is on their way to us, or a breeding herd of elephants. There could be several. Exactly in the direction where she is looking now. Well done, Roy. Do you copy that, Brent? Wonderful. Well, Ephraim, I can copy you now. Confirm you're interested in Karula. Yeah, I'm still with her. She's lying up here midway between Twin Dams and Weaver's Nest, about 30-40 meters north of Chilapan Road. Copy. Angela in Massachusetts is asking that would this leopard potentially try and take down an elephant? And the answer to that is no. It's highly, highly unlikely. A leopard will typically run away from an elephant, and we're about to probably see that happen. I've just got a visual of some elephants, and maybe Andrew will be able to try and pan across and show you. They are kind of heading towards her, and she is going to get out of here as quickly as possible. In unique scenarios, potentially, yes, a leopard may have caught an elephant, a baby elephant, but it'll be an absolutely abnormal scenario and unique scenario. So now you've got an idea of where the elephants are, and as Andrew pans out and gets the back of my head and the leopard in the shots, hello everyone, and the elephants are just up somewhere over there, and the leopard's over there. So, and the elephants are making their way towards this leopard. So, Angela, your question is about to be answered live by the animal itself. So let's let the animals do the talking here. And won't it be interesting to see what happens? I fear though, however, we may need a link across to Brent for an update from him in the next few minutes, but we'll keep you updated. And I think it is that time now to cut across to Brent. If these elephants and leopard do start interacting, we'll get a link back here, but let's go and see what Brent's got in store for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We've joined up with those two lions that Scott had this morning, so we're going to keep following them and see where they lead us. Oh, he's disappearing around the corner. Just gonna Incomo. So these are the two Nkahumas that have been separated from the pride. Still trying to locate the rest of the pride. The rest of the pride are to the north in Buffelshoek as far as I know, but I don't think they were found this morning. Sorry, just want to check. Is there still a vehicle coming? No. but we'll try to get ahead of them once we get through this thick drainage line. Oh, panicking Franklin's. All of a sudden, oh my goodness, there's a lion! So they are still very hungry, even though they are looking for the pride. If they see something, they will try to catch it. Oh, losing my earpiece there for a second. Oh, so lazy, the little boy. So they've been covering huge distances. We saw them at Sydney's Dam a few days ago, round and round in circles, trying to pick up scent of the rest of the pride. Good afternoon, Susan from Tennessee. Welcome on Drive with us this afternoon. Susan, just stand by one. Susan would like to know whether, because this female who might be his sister or littermate sticks with him, when he was pushed out of the pride, would she leave with him? Almost certainly not. She would stay with the pride. So the male would be pushed out and she would remain with the pride.
Again? Okay, I'll get your visual from where I am and call you in. Say someone's love and then you know you're close, you're just north of them north.
Station looking for Brent to go ahead.
Anyone looking for you?
I thought Cedric was trying to get hold of me. He's trying to make his way into this position. Yeah, well, Well, they're moving out towards some more open areas now. They're actually on the road that leads straight to Gari Dam or Vuyatela Dam. So when we came through there earlier, there was lots of impala and some waterbuck around, and they are very hungry.
Yellow, just north of the road.
I put it in low here. I'll be a little bit more here.
I don't know how I can see you. Okay, sorry man. Just come back. I'll call you. Look closely, you'll see where my mobile is.
Look at him trying to swat the fly. Not going to be seated for too long, my friend. The lady's still on the move. It'd be really fascinating and interesting for us to see when they do join up with the rest of the pride. If we could be there, the greeting would be quite phenomenal. He's actually looking at a flock of green pigeons that just flew over. Attracted his attention. Now he's looking at a great go-away bird. Must be very hungry if he's looking at the birds and dreaming. So he's going to keep following on behind. We're just going to stay with the lioness for now. Because if there is any hunting to be done, it's going to be done by her rather than him.
Good afternoon, station. Civic Bravo in the north. Can I get a line up for those two Ngala, please? Just Davidson left.
Cedric, only myself here. You can make your way.
Oh, excellent. Copy. Thanks so much.
Oh, you go for it. We'll stay with these lions while we can. Guys, we're going to stay with the lions. We're just going to cross over to Scott quickly, and then we'll probably come back to follow the lions for a bit longer. Over to Scott.
You are ready when you are.
Got his screen.
Welcome back, folks, and from Asleep in Karula, we're going to say goodbye and leave her here and head off to her son to see if any action's heating up there at his kill. For a few reasons, we believe there'll be more action there with him. And also there's only visual for one vehicle to view clearly from here, and a second vehicle is making their way in. So we're going to make space for them now and head across to another leopard. Isn't life tough? So let me just reverse here quickly, and we'll probably cut back to Brent now with the lions on the move. And once we get into position with Djuma, we will let Alex know, and we will get a link over then. So until then, enjoy the lion with Brent.
How are you?
Good, Ephraim. How are you doing?
Good.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Hi guys, welcome back. As you can see, we're still with the lions. They haven't moved too far. The young male just caught up, and then as soon as he caught up, she decided to walk on. Oh, here comes the next one.
Gala. Couple you 1 out of 5. Copy.
Station looking for an update on the Ngala coming.
Copy the bird.
Hi firm, sorry, I was just, my radio was down for a second. They're on twin dams between Chelepan Road and Quarantine, approaching Vuyatila Dam, probably about 500-600 meters to the south of Vuyatila Dam.
Oh, fantastic. Alright, no problem. So I was just saying, I just been stuck here with some, quite a few middle in the area around Tindang. So, alright, excellent. I'm coming off. I'll see you now.
Copy, no problem. Wonderful sky, wonderful lions, wonderful afternoon. Really pleasant. Yeah. So they are approaching those open areas. Be interesting to see if they do see any game, what their reaction is going to be, because they are very hungry. Copy, thanks, Scott. Yeah, we noted that. Okay, so I'm just going to try to shoot ahead of them now that it's a bit more open. I don't have to crash through the bush.
Making my way there.
So guys, we've repositioned well. Test my reversing skills again. And it's amazing how much distance these lines have covered in the search for their pride. Hold on, Brian. Here we go. A dip. And here comes the really bumpy part. After we get through this, it should be okay. There we go. Okay. We're through the bad parts. What we're going to do, guys, is just zoom quite a bit far ahead, quite far ahead this time. They are approaching an area where there's, potentially a lot of prey species. So we're just going to get well ahead of them so we can also see where they might go if they see something, so we can plan our movements accordingly. Good evening, Tanya from the UK. Tanya would like to know whether they are smart enough to realize they need to be downwind of an animal. Tanya, I think basically lions are very visual hunters. So their hunting is basically just based on what they see in front of them. I don't think they take the wind into consideration. There's my earpiece, sorry. So we're going to stand right here. I can't see any impala or waterbuck at the moment. Can you check? Oh, there are some buffalo bulls still at Djuma Dam, but I think it would be quite a big ask for two, especially of this age, to take on an adult buffalo bull. It's going to be interesting to see which direction they go from here. Whether they cross across the dam wall, or they continue back towards FC and Djuma Lodge. She definitely heard something in the drainage line. To our left, there's often in Nyala and see, this is where they chased those buffalo the other morning. But I doubt two of them were... Oh, you never know, stranger things have happened. But it'd be very unusual for two of them to try to take on an adult buffalo bull. Good evening, Joanne from Arizona. Joanne would like to know whether these two are heading in the right direction of the rest of the pride. Joanne, I'm not sure. The rest of the pride wasn't found this morning, so I can't say for sure. But the general direction is north, so they are heading west at the moment, but they can change their direction quite quickly. She spotted the buffalo now down at the dam. Okay, is that far enough for me to move? Do they stop behind the car? No. Go. Okay. Confirm you need a leg. Okay guys, we're going to cut across the Scott quickly. We'll stay with the line, so I'm sure we'll see you again just now.
Oh, still nice, just to give them an update. Well, welcome back, and this afternoon just continues to get better and better. Djuma was sleeping in a slightly different part of this tambuti tree as we arrived a few minutes ago, and he's just moved closer towards the kill. We thought he was going to start feeding. The kill is just above him, and Andrew will show you exactly where, just to give you an idea of the proximity. It's just a little bit above him, up in the tree there, almost directly above him. And there you can see it just dangling over some branches. So he did head towards it, but as we got the link from Brent, he decided to lie down again, which is perfect. And due to the fact that he has continued to sleep, or just lie up at least, it may be worth us cutting back to Brent, because the lion's on the move. Probably more entertaining than watching him sleep in the branches for now. But we just thought we'd give you an update on the situation here. There's no sign of any hyena that we've seen. That's not to say that one isn't nearby. But at this stage, no sign of hyena, and no sign of any major action unfolding shortly. Great shot here that Andrew's giving you. And we'll continue to wait here until things do heat up a little bit, and hopefully a hyena comes onto the scene, or this leopard continues to feed. But until such points, it might be best for you to spend this time with Brent and see what happens with these lions, and enjoy every second of it, because this afternoon is turning out to be a magical one, and hope you're all enjoying the action.
Welcome back, guys. In a few minutes or so you were gone, they started staring at some buffalo, even though I think it's a bit of a big ask. We got ourselves into the position that if they did even just attempt to chase a buffalo, we would be in the right spot. We will keep an eye on everything here. They've lain down at the moment. There's quite a lot of buffalo bulls here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 bulls at the dam. I can only see the lioness at the moment. I'm not sure where the young male is. I mean, that's quite a formidable opponent for a large pride of lions, let alone two. But stranger things have happened. Moved. Same place.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just see if we can see where the lions are. Good afternoon, Diane from Michigan. Diane would like to know how far these lines have traveled this afternoon. Diane, they actually haven't traveled that far this afternoon. They've probably traveled about, in total maybe, just over two kilometers. So they haven't traveled that far from where Scott last saw them this morning. Looking at the buffalo, but I think he knows better than to try to tackle them by himself. So the last report of the rest of their pride was to the north of us. They're not exactly heading due north at the moment, but actually probably close to the northeast. Good evening, Paul from Minnesota. Paul wants to know, when we cut in front of the lines, don't we risk scaring any prey away? Well, in this area, Paul, the prey species and the predators are very habituated to the vehicles, so they don't see the vehicle as a threat, and they don't normally run away from the cars. So that doesn't happen too often. Inadvertently, from time to time, you cannot help sometimes either scaring an animal away or scaring an animal towards a predator, and that's just it's just unfortunately one of the things that happens from time to time. But it doesn't happen very often. I mean, I think I only know of it happening once in my guiding career. In a lot of reserves and whatnot, lions have been known to use the cars to hunt. So sneak behind the cars and use them as cover for hunting. So the prey species don't really take too much notice of the car, neither do the predators. You can hear a grey heron calling in the background.
Yes, Sydney South for Kilo.
Sort of looking at those buffalo going, why can't you be smaller?
Definitely seen something. I'm not sure if the buffalo just moved behind us, possibly.
That caught his attention.
My level Sydney is got a number of kilo that decided to come through.
Remember guys, any questions you have, via email, send them to questions@wildearth.tv or just use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Oh, eyes are closed. Even though they are quite hungry and they haven't eaten for a few days, they're still in no means in danger of dying from malnutrition or lack of food. They're still looking relatively healthy. They can go for over a week without eating if they have to.
He's seen something we can't see. It doesn't look like it. It's just a buffalo moving on the other bank. Got a few years yet before you can take on a buffalo by yourself, my boy.
Okay, copy. Station's going to be Junction Signboards, go remain.
And the buffalo moving behind us. That's what he's saying. And what he's done is move a little bit closer to the buffalo. Sorry. Sure.
Welcome back, and it looks like Kunyuma's about to come down the tree and may well go for a drink at the same little pond where he drank last night that Brent got to share with you. And incredibly how silently he descended from the street. So what we need to now do is head back onto the road, which will take us a few minutes, and just double check that he is in fact going for a drink. It'll be beautiful if we can share it with you again tonight. Brent had some wonderful, wonderful views last night, and we would certainly like to try and share the same thing with you. So we will give you an update as soon as we do, but just thought we'd like to show you him descending down from the tambuti tree, and while we try and relocate him and reposition and establish exactly what's going on, we'll cut back to Brent and see what's going on, because it is a bit tricky down here in this drainage line, so it's going to be a lot of stop-start. Let me just poke forward a little bit and see if we can see him here. He could simply just be uncomfortable. But no, I'm fairly certain he's headed off for a drink. So we'll catch up with you a little bit later, and until then, enjoy the line with Brent.
Welcome back, guys. The young male's still there. The lioness has actually just walked right next to our vehicle into this quarry bush to my right. I can't see her at the moment. Can you see her there?
Yeah.
Which way? Is she lying down?
No, she's standing. I can see her legs there.
Okay. Cool. But as it's getting darker, we might not be able to put any lights on if they're still hunting and showing interest.
There's just Brent and Cedric, I believe, with two Gormers lying up Gari Dam. And Djuma just come from West upwards, and I think he's heading towards Chelapan, towards the map.
Evening, Lynn and Toronto. Lynn would like to know whether these two lions would try to call the rest of the pride, or would it be a bit dangerous. They will use low contact calls. They won't sort of roar because they could attract the attention of other lions that they don't want the attention of. There's actually a buffalo bull walking straight towards the young male at the moment, but the lioness has decided to go the opposite direction, leaving him by himself. So the lioness is to the right, moving away. This buffalo is looks like he might come around towards where that young male is. We might just be going to have a scratch under that bush. Oh, the lioness has now spotted the buffalo moving towards the young male, and she's moving back in. As I said, it would be unlikely for the two of them to be able to take down a buffalo bull, but stranger things have happened, and hunger can make animals do things you didn't think was possible. The lioness is just off to the front of our vehicle. One advantage that the lions might have here is that the buffalo is in some difficult area. Go ahead. Chelepan. This could, if he manages to get up above them, this could get very interesting. Which it looks like he might be able to do. So and if the buffalo's moved too quickly past that sort of spot, he might have lost that one sort of half opportunity he might have had. But you never know, the exuberance of youth. I can't see him anymore.
There he goes.
Here we go, guys. Oh, spotted. And a little bit too much noise coming up behind that buffalo, young boy. And here we have a Mexican standoff. Oh. Is this a great young buffalo hunter in the making? No. He doesn't look really committed there.
Trying, but not really.
No, he's not really committing. Let's move. Oh, he's still going. You got him. Oh, it's so dark. Sorry, guys. Let me just try to get out. Oh, he's calling for his sister now. Oh, yes.
Can't hunt it anymore, Alex. Gained out.
Quite nice. Oh, you got him.
Yeah.
Nice work. No, it was a very
Very half-hearted.
adventurous to think he could take a big buffalo bull by himself. But The lioness is just to our right, yeah. She didn't actually even get involved. I mean, if the two of them had, there's always a chance. I mean, you never know. You have buffalo in the distance. Brrr. Like. Okay, well, that was fun to watch anyway. That's how not to hunt a buffalo by the Nkahuma young male. Let's have a look where the lioness is. She was just up here. There she is. So she's moving around. She might come down. Can you hear a contact calling the other? Can you see the spotlight back there behind, maybe under your jacket? No? Oh, there it is behind me. Let him up on top of the hill there.
Yeah.
Let's just move back a little bit, see if we can get a view of the lioness.
Okay, thanks, Ephraim. No sign of Djuma popping out at Chellapan where he drank last night, so he may just be lying up near the bumper.
You just hear those low contact calls to each other. I'm just going to turn the spotlight off for a second. And just wait here and listen. You still hear the buffalo bulls. Brr, brr. There we go. I don't know if you guys heard that call there. Contact calling to the young male. It looks like he's on his way back towards us now. We're not going to try shine, and there's not much. There we go. There's some lights on him now. Nice. So he's heading back towards the lioness. Right along the edge of the dam. Oh, the lioness has just gone behind us. And he's coming this side. Okay, they've just gone directly behind us. Looks like they're heading up towards Quarantine and FC. So Alex, if you hear me, make sure your gate's closed.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, guys. I believe we have a lot of the Eastern Djuma. All leaving Brent Lock expect for 2. They still have Gary Dam. It's like heading towards Buoyant Tires at the moment.
Scott's coming. What's your position? Okay, copy. Yeah, they're now heading up on that little road that goes between FC and Buoyant. So on the move, and those lights you see in the background are Djuma Lodge. Sorry, Scotty, go again. Ah, perfect, thanks. They're lying down at the moment, but I will keep you updated. Sorry, go again. I missed that last bit of your message. Copy, would you like a link? Okay guys, well, they're lying down, both of them now. They have been moving for quite a while, so it's unlikely they're going to move too much further in the next hour or so. So from myself and Brian, we've had a wonderful time with you guys this evening. So and hopefully we can follow the story of these lions, see if they find the rest of the pride tomorrow. So wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful evening, morning, and we will see you on Drive bright and shiny tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful night.
Copy, thanks Alex. Well folks, would you believe it? The luck continues and we've bumped into Karula again. She's heading straight towards Vuyatela Dam, and what an incredible afternoon it's been. I believe you had some amusing lion hunting, or attempted lion hunting buffalo, and it just goes to show how formidable the buffalo are. Not an easy animal to take down for the lion, especially young lion. And this isn't a bad way to end off an afternoon. Sadly, Djuma didn't pop up at Chelapan, the pan where he did drink last night with Brent. We did give it some time then. We were just on our way literally back to camp, and look who we bumped into. It's just too good to be true. So for all of you that joined this afternoon, thank you very, very much for tuning in. And to Alex in the final control, great job. As well as to Brent and Brian on the other vehicle, and to the cameraman on this vehicle, Andrew, thank you very much. It's been a highly entertaining afternoon, and one that will be hard to repeat. There's a very short time left, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let Karula disappear into the shadows to finish off this drive, and we'll leave her to a night of hunting unaffected by us, and do our best to follow up on her in the morning. She's just changing directions, so oh, she's seen something here. I'm not sure what it is, or heard something at least. But no, she seems to be continuing. And there's just a minute left, and like I said, we'll just let her continue down this road and drift off into the shadows. So a big thank you and goodbye from myself, and look forward to the morning safari. So until tomorrow, all the best, and we'll just leave you these last few shots of her disappearing into the shadows.